So we kind of got caught off a little bit there at the end of 17 by the video. I only have 15 minutes per recording on this Screencast-O-Matic software. So let me just quickly recap. Number 17 was 4.8D is equal to 2.4, and we determined that if we divide both sides by 4.8, these will cancel, and we'll get D is whatever this is, but this of course simplifies. If we divide by a magic 1 of 2.4 over 2.4, it simplifies into 1/2. And so we just were checking it. So to rewrite the original equation, 4.8D is 2.4, for D is 1/2, and then we just plug it in, and we get, write that a little bit better, 4.8 times 1/2 is 2.4, and then if you check that, you'll find that it is true. And so that tells us that the equation D is 1/2 is correct. So let's see if they had it. They don't have anything. It's not a multiple choice question. So we do want to write all of our fractions in simplest form. So then we will write D is 1/2. Okay, so number 18, B over 14 is 21. This is a division problem. B over 14 equals 21. When we do division equations, we will multiply both sides by the denominator. So we have left side, these 14s will cancel, and we'll be left with, we'll isolate the variable and get B is equal to whatever 21 times 14 is. Let's see, let's do some long multiplication here. So that's going to be, looks like 294. But I'm going to check it. I very well could have messed that up. So let's check this. So it's, let me see, it was B over 14 equals 21. So we have for B equals 294. So we'll substitute 294 here in the numerator. So is it true that 294 divided by 14, is that true that it's 21? Let's divide it and find out. So we have 294 divided by 14. 14 goes into 29 twice. 2 times 14 is 28. We subtract to get 1. We bring down 14, and sure enough, it is 21. So 21 equals 21. And we know that our solution is correct. So B is 294 is what we want here. And then we're left with the last two problems, which are both word problems. So we have number 19 says, for every quarter spent, Reggie receives 50 food pebbles to feed the fish at a hatchery. Okay, so I'm thinking of some sort of a picture just to kind of get this started. For every quarter spent, so when Reggie spends a quarter, he gets 50 food pebbles to feed the fish. Reggie has thrown 350 food pebbles into the fish pools. That seems like a total to me. Write and solve an equation. So we need to write an equation and solve it to find the number of quarters Reggie spent at the hatchery. Okay, so let's see if I can just kind of draw a picture of this. We have some sort of hatchery with fish. He's throwing pebbles in there. We know that there's a total number of pebbles of 350 pebbles. That's total. But we need to find our variable so that we can get started with our bar diagram. So to find the number of quarters Reggie spent at the hatchery. Alright, so let some variable be the number of quarters Reggie spent. Okay, well I'm just going to use Q, would be a good variable for quarters. So he spent some number of quarters and he ended up getting 350 total food pebbles. So it seems like 350 is going to be my top bar because that's the total number of food pebbles. So 350 is my total food pebbles. Now, the number of quarters, we know that he gets 50 pebbles for every 1 quarter. So let me just see. So for 1 quarter, let's say this is a quarter he spent, he gets 50. And then if he uses another quarter, he uses 2 quarters, he'd have 100. But that's not quite enough to 350. I guess we could keep counting. But what we really want to do is use some dot dot dots here because we don't know how many quarters Reggie spends. So we can actually represent that this way on the bar diagram. This means I don't know how many are in here. But I do know that the number of them is our variable Q. Remember, Q is the number of quarters that he spent. So from this, I can see that I have 350 is equal to 50 times Q. So Q, there are Q 50s. We don't know how many. There are a Q of them. So let me scroll that up just slightly. I guess I can't. Okay, so 50Q, let me just use this over here. 50Q is 350. Well, that's a multiplication equation. I can just divide both sides by 50. These will cancel. I need to divide this side by 50. And I will get that, whatever this is, 350 divided by 50. Let's see if I can cancel some of this. This will cancel. And then it's going to be 35 divided by 5, which is going to be 7. So 7 is my Q, 7 quarters. So let me just check that. For 50Q is 350, is it true that if Q is 7, that is correct? Let's find out. So we'll substitute that. 50 times 7 is 350. Is that true? Let's just make sure it is. 7 times 0 is 0, and 7 times 5 is 35. Yep, it is true. So I didn't make a mistake on my multiplication there. So my solution is correct. Q is 7 quarters. And I've got a bar diagram, I've got a check step, I define my variable. This looks like a good answer. So Q, number of quarters Reggie spent, he spent 7 quarters. I'll even put the units here. Okay, so we're on the last one now, number 20. And I need a little bit more room here, so let me just select all of this and give myself a bit more room to write. So number 20 turns out, it's not always the case, but in this case, number 20, the last question is the hardest, probably on this particular practice test. An exterminator charges $80 to visit a home and $35 to spray each room. So he's paying, you're paying $80 just for the exterminator to come out to the house, but then you have to pay on top of the $80 another $35 per room that he sprays or she sprays. If the total bill was $395, so there we have a total, how many rooms were sprayed? So now we know our variable. So let some letter be the number of rooms sprayed. Okay, well for rooms maybe I'll just choose a variable letter R for rooms. So we have, in the house we have some number of rooms. We don't know how many of them there are, but for each one we know it's $35 plus the $80 just to get out of the house. So let's think about the bar diagram here. We need to always think about the top bar. And we have a total right here, $395. So we know that our top bar, I'll probably do better than that bar, is $395. Okay, so $395 total is going to be that $80 that we started with. Let's put 80 right here. Plus some number of rooms. And we don't know how many rooms, that's our variable, but we do know that each room costs $35. So we can just start putting $35 down. So there's a 35, there's another 35. We don't know how many 35s we have. Actually we have R of them. So we can just get this piece here to be, there are R35s. So from this picture we can actually write an equation. We could say that 80 plus 35, or R times 35, or 35R, is the total of 395. And that is our equation. We'll go ahead and solve it and check it, but that looks to be correct according to this bar diagram. So I like to put my variable terms first, so I'm just going to use the commutative property of addition to swap those, to switch spots here, and that's 395. So let's go ahead and, let's see, we can subtract 80 from both sides, and that'll get rid of the 80s over here on the left. Oops. And that will give me 3R is equal to 395 minus 80. So that's going to be looks to be 315. 3R. So 3R means we need to divide both sides by 3, and that will, these will turn to 1s, and we'll be left with R is equal to whatever 315 divided by 3 is. Let's go over here and do that. 315 divided by 3 goes in 3, goes in 1, so it's a 0. And we have 1, of course, that's 3 will not go into 1, so we put a 0. So 0 times 3 is 0. We bring another 1, and then we have 15. So it looks to be 3 goes into 15 5 times. So it looks like 105. Let me just check that. Times 3, 15, 0, 1, 3, 15. Yes. So 105. So it looks like that can't be right. There are 105 rooms. What did I do wrong? That can't be right. Oh, does anyone see what I did wrong? Oh boy. I did 3 instead of 35. Oh, okay. I'm not going to start the video. I'm just going to fix it. All right, let me do this again. Now, notice how I found my mistake. That doesn't make any sense to have 105 rooms. This isn't a castle. So sometimes you just have to ask yourself, does that even make sense? So let's try 35 this time. Sorry about that. So I think we'll get a better result here. So we have, instead of 315 divided by 3, we have 315 divided by 35. So how many times will it go in? Well, let's see. 35 times, I'm going to guess 7. Let me see if that's correct. I'm going to just multiply that. 35, 7 gives me 35, 21. That's not enough. 21 plus 3 is 24. That's not enough. Let me just go up by 2. Let's try 9. So 35 by 9 is 45 plus 4. 27 and 4 is 31. Yeah, there you go. It is 9. So the answer, it looks like, is 9 rooms. So R is equal to 9 rooms. And of course we need to check that. So let me just do that really quick. I'm running out of room here. Let me just go up here and check it. So we just need to rewrite the original equation. I think it was 35R plus, was it 80? 35R plus 80 is 395, okay? 35R plus 80 is 395, and we think the answer is, for R, is 9 rooms. Let me just plug that in. 35, is it true that 35 times 9 plus 80 makes 395? Is that true? Let's find out. So 35 times 9, I think I already multiplied that. I'm not going to do it again. Where is it? 35 times 9, did I not multiply that? There it is right there. I just didn't finish it. 20, so it's 31. I just need to finish this. This is actually 31. So it's 315. And so I have 315 plus 80. Does that equal 395? Well, let's just add those numbers and see. And you will see that it indeed does. So that is match, and therefore I have that 9 rooms are sprayed, and I can come over here and say R is 9 rooms, and will get full credit for that answer. Hope that was helpful. You can watch the video as many times as you need to, and good luck on the test on Tuesday.